Hello dear friends, today I am going to share with you why I walked from Canada to Los Angeles and the impact that the long journey had on my life. Right now I am sitting in Los Angeles. I arrived here having done the 6-month walk along the Pacific Coast Highway. About 10 days ago is when I arrived, and the walk was deeply meaningful for me. It was transformational. As I'm sitting here, I have just entered into what I've been hoping to enter into for over a decade, and that is this experiment of non-ownership. To own absolutely nothing and to have no money to my name. I could not be where I am right now had I not gone for this long walk. The walk was a vessel. There was a lot of intention behind the walk, and it was about the journey, but it was about getting me ready for what was next, where I am now. On July 28th, 2024, I arrived at the Canada and Washington border. I started at the Peace Arch National Monument, and I didn't have a whole lot of preparation. I wasn't exactly ready. Now, a lot of people wonder, why not walk the Pacific Crest Trail or the Appalachian Trail? Instead, I walked the Pacific Coast Highway along the Pacific Ocean. The reason that I did this walk, at the heart of it, was that I wanted to slow down my life. I wanted to simplify my life. Some of you might be saying, you simplify? Haven't you already simplified? Yes. However, over the years, I had in some ways wrapped myself back up into the rat race. I had been running a nonprofit organization, trying to bring in a lot of funds in order to pay for a team of people that were living and working together in a home in St. Pete, Florida, and then Asheville, North Carolina. And I found myself really losing my integrity, something that I believe is actually potentially the most valuable thing I have. And I decided that a walk could be the way that I could do this. Walking is slow, there's no question about that. A lot of you know I've biked across the United States 3 times. And although cycling is a lot slower than driving in a car, walking is even slower. At just about 3 miles per hour, I would only be able to walk about 15 miles a day. This is slow moving. And I also committed to starting the walk once I had simplified my life down to everything that I own being that I could carry it with me in a backpack to start. This walk really was an opportunity for surrender. To let go a lot of my attachments to outcome, my attachment of things being a certain way. There was both the literal and the figurative journey that I could be on. The things that I wanted to practice as I was slowing down and simplifying were being in the present moment, being more mindful, existing in a state of gratitude for life, deepening my connection with everything, dissolving more of the illusion of separateness. And walking would do that. Every single day that I was out, I was with the land. The earth was under my feet. The sky was above me. I was there with the birds that were chirping. I enjoyed the whales on their migration and just the so many animals that I came across each day as I was out there. I was out camping many nights, being out there under the stars in my tent, just being a part of the earth, not being, in my own little home, but instead finding my home, making my own little nest with the earth. Swimming in the bodies of water, swimming in the Pacific Ocean, swimming in the little creeks and the rivers that I came across. I learned to really hug a tree on this trip. The redwoods of Northern California were my gateway to universal love through hugging trees. I started to feel a sense of connection like I never have before just by deeply embracing these trees. As I was walking, my food, I was able to find it growing freely and abundantly all around me. apples and plums and pears, different herbs and greens like stinging nettle, dandelions, and plantago, making herbal teas, eating the greens, enjoying these fruits. Oh, and of course the mushrooms too. Finding my food and medicine growing as I was walking was a joy. Not all my food came from foraging. In fact, only a small percentage came through foraging. But where the most of my food came from was the health food stores, the local food co-ops, where I was able to buy my food unpackaged and create minimal garbage, eating nourishing, wholesome foods that was coming from these food co-ops along the way. Now, another way that I was able to connect with the earth was that I was wearing my 100% homemade natural fiber and naturally dyed clothing, which included my homemade walking shoes. A few times I lost one of my articles of clothing, dropping it along the roadside or on a path, and actually that felt wonderful. The reason why? It could return to the earth with the natural fibers, and with it being naturally dyed, it was no different from a leaf falling from a tree or a deer falling to the earth. It was not all easy. Walking 1,600 miles in my homemade shoes and barefoot was very difficult. It was the most difficult right at the beginning. I started with a backpack, and that extra weight on my feet and legs was a real struggle. So about maybe 150 miles in, I got a walking cart, and I put my gear onto that walking cart, which made a big difference. I did the 1,600 miles with 1,000 miles in my homemade walking shoes, and when the soles would wear out, I would put new leather soles on, and the other 600 miles was in my bare feet. And that was quite the exploration of the body, really deeply testing my belief in the human body. And yes, it was challenging. Yes, it was painful at times. But not a single shard of glass made it into the sole of my foot, and I suffered no injuries. Time with earth abounded, but so did time with people. So many people at the beginning would ask me, why aren't you doing the Pacific Crest Trail? And one of the reasons why is because I wanted to be with the people that came to find me out on the road and walk with me, and the people who just came across me, not knowing that I would be there. It was certainly an experience. People received me in different ways. Being a, sort of middle-aged, I'm 38, middle-aged man walking down the highway with everything that I own on a cart, a lot of people judged me quite a bit. I remember in Washington, where there's issues with drugs, people would assume that I was a tweaker. There was many people that would label me as a homeless person or as a bum. There were people that really were very intentional about not engaging with me, and some people that were definitely afraid of me, afraid for their basic safety, and wanted me out of their community at times. But more so, there was such a beautiful connection with people. Of course, my dear friend Brent. We walked together all the way from the Canada border to California. I think that was about the first 700 miles Brent and I walked together. And we had a really deep connection in our time together. Now, I stayed with many hosts along the way. Most of them were people who follow me online and invited me into their homes, but others were what you could call strangers, people who just saw me on the roadside and invited me into their homes. In the 180 days on the road, I stayed with about 40 different hosts and slept in about 70 different places outside. But when I stayed with hosts, I tended to stay with them for a couple days. So I was indoors on many days with my hosts. They shared meals with me. So I really had some beautiful moments with my hosts. A lot of us practiced compassionate communication together, or nonviolent communication. It was a really beautiful opportunity to get to practice that. From the bottom of my heart to all of you who hosted me and supported me along this walk, I am so deeply grateful for you and so grateful for our time together. I love you all very much. This walk was a vessel for letting go, and I let go of so much. Now, Part of that meant that if you saw me on the road walking, you may have noticed that I managed to set my computer up right on my walking cart and actually be able to type while walking. Or you might have seen me taking a break on the side of the road on my laptop. At the beginning, I actually made the joke, a woman walked up and said, "Are you on a pilgrimage?" And internally, I said, "No, I'm just a guy walking from Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi." I've been busy for so much of my life, really trying to accomplish things. I've had more on my plate than I can handle. I've been spread thin for a long time. And I decided that by the time I reached Los Angeles, I would either finish everything that I had on my list or I would cancel it. So on this walk, I was shedding. With each step, I was shedding the past and I was walking into the future. I was simplifying, downsizing. My computer, I was finishing everything that was on there, all the writing that I had started or the videos that I was working on. I made the objective that I would delete every document, every PDF, every spreadsheet, all the videos, all the photos, all of it would either be completed and published online or deleted. And I did that before arriving in Los Angeles. I let go of so much. And through this letting go, the idea is to create space, to be doing what I really, really want with my life, to be entering into this state of integrity, to be practicing truth to the deepest level possible, to be practicing mindfulness, living in the present moment, compassionate communication, empathy, dissolving the illusion of separateness with it all, the entering into a state of interconnectedness, letting go of all that didn't serve me and no longer serves me so that I could be practicing what I believe will allow me to be of highest service. This walk was also a vessel for truth. I decided that before I arrived in Los Angeles, I would share everything in my mind that I had been guarding or hiding, anything that I had been embarrassed about or had any shame, anything that I was mourning over. And so I did exactly that. I did that through talking and sharing with people in person, also by doing a 9-part series that I posted online on YouTube called the Truth Series. And in doing so, I released it. Everything that I'd been guarding or hiding, everything I'd been embarrassed of. And I arrived here in Los Angeles. Now, my mind is Creative Commons. There's nothing here that I will not openly share with you. My mind is wide open as this experiment in truth. Along those lines, I made the commitment that for the next 4 years, I will exist in a state of complete transparency. Someone who helped me in this experiment was Ram Dass. I listened to about 40 hours of his experiments and his insights along the walk. I also learned from Thich Nhat Hanh and Sadhguru and Robin Wall Kimmerer and Mahatma Gandhi, as well as other teachers, by listening to audiobooks and reading books along the way. At the heart of all of this is my quest to bring integrity into everything in my life. Ram Dass said that we work on ourselves so that we can be of service to others. My objective is to be a leader of integrity, a leader of truth and transparency, and to be a human being that just being around me, being in my presence, means that we're working on ourselves, that we're connecting with the earth, that we're breaking free from the delusions, the separateness, and that we're truly reconnecting. This walk has absolutely been that. Whether it was the physical act of walking, being a part of the earth, being with humanity, being with community, or the deep work that I was doing inside. It all prepared me for the arrival in Los Angeles, where when I got here, I was ready. I gave it all away. I gave away every possession that I had, all those meaningful possessions that I walked from Canada to Los Angeles with. I shed it. I gave it away. I'm now standing here or sitting here in borrowed clothes. I'm about 10 days into the experiment of non-ownership, where tomorrow I'm going into 5 weeks of silent meditation, of Vipassana, and the experiment continues. I could not have gotten to where I am today without the walk and without the work that I did and the vessel that the walk created. So I'm very grateful to have been able to share this journey with you. I'm grateful for so many of you who followed the walk through the videos or being in person, and I'm looking forward to more walks to come, and hopefully I will be walking with many of you. I love you all very much, dear friends.